The Realm of Heroes is a legendary level of power in the New World, generally around level 30 to 35, reserved for the rare few who surpass the natural limits of their race. Those who attain this level possess overwhelming combat ability or high-tier magic, and are often recognized as true heroes or said to belong to the hero class. Lacus Alvain Dale Aindra is an adamantite rank adventurer and the leader of Blue Roses, one of the strongest adventurer teams in the Riestes Kingdom. Born into the noble Aindra family, and she was inspired by the legendary adventurer team Red Drop, and she ran away from home as a child to pursue her dream of becoming an adventurer. Lacus eventually inherited the leadership of Blue Roses from Rigrit Bears Corral, one of the legendary 13 heroes. During her journey, she was once saved by Gagarin, so Lacus invited her to join the Blue Roses and they became partners. Later, she was a target for assassination by the twins Tia and Tina, who failed during their attempt, and instead of eliminating them, she managed to convince them to join Blue Roses as her companions. She was considered one of the strongest adventurers in the Riestes Kingdom at the age of 19 for her heroic level abilities. She specializes in divine magic, one of the only people in the kingdom capable of casting 5th tier spells. She can cast group buffs and healing spells, including silent healing on herself, and beside her magic abilities, she possesses superhuman levels of physical and mental strength by New World standards. Her teammates had to catch her off guard and weaken her before they could place her under mind control. This proves how strong and resilient she is, and she wields unusual and powerful equipment that sets her apart from ordinary adventurers. Her main weapon is Kilinarum the Demonic Sword, one of the 4 swords of darkness used by the Black Knight of the 13 heroes, capable of unleashing devastating dark attacks. She also wears the Virgin Snow, a rare magical armor set wearable only by maidens, granting her both resistance and protection, and floating swords hover constantly at her shoulders, ready to be launched at her enemies, while her cloak of rat speed enhances her agility, making her a swift and unpredictable fighter. What makes Lacus unique is being the only known user of resurrection magic in the kingdom, capable of casting Raise Dead, a 5th tier spell that can revive fallen allies. Lacus is more than just a powerful adventurer. She's a rare hero-level cleric swordswoman who can revive the dead, making her one of the strongest humans in the New World. Vijar Rajandala was a ruler of the Zoastia tribes in the Abylian Hills, and one of the tribal leaders of the Demi-Human Alliance, who participated in the invasion of the Robel Holy Kingdom, led by Yaldabaoth. He inherited the prestigious and fearsome title Demon Claw from his father, a title symbolizing unmatched combat prowess among his people. Driven by ambition and pride, Vijar sought to prove himself as a strong warrior and worthy successor of his father's legacy. And during the Demi-Human invasion, he fought not only for conquest, but also to demonstrate his strength and gain lasting fame. He is a master of brute force combat and possesses a set of formidable abilities that make him a terrifying warrior on the battlefield. With his martial art fortress, he greatly enhances his defenses, allowing him to withstand direct physical blows, even powerful holy strikes from strong paladins. His power claw further sharpens and strengthens the power of his claws, turning them into deadly weapons capable of piercing through tough defenses. And he can also unleash Showdown Declaration, a fearsome roar that compels enemies to face him head-on, forcing them into decisive combat. He wields the legendary Edgewing, an enchanted 2-handed battle axe said to be unstoppable by any known warrior. When he led the Zoastia tribes in the massive campaign against the Robel Holy Kingdom, he held the western gate of Loitz alongside other tribal leaders, pressing the siege despite heavy opposition. And he personally engaged in combat with Remedios Custodio, one of the kingdom's strongest warriors. He endured her holy strike with minimal injury, showcasing his incredible resilience. What makes Vijar unique is his neutral to positive karma alignment, which grants him an unusual resistance to holy attacks, a rare trait among his kind that makes him especially dangerous to paladins and holy warriors. Unlike many other demi-humans who fight out of cruelty or hatred toward humans, Vijar fought to prove himself as a true warrior and was driven by pride. Yet despite his formidable abilities and noble intent, his journey ended when he was crushed by Ainz. Remedios Custodio was the Grandmaster of the Robel Holy Kingdom's Paladin Order and one of the 9 Colors, an elite group of champions, and she was known as the strongest paladin of her generation. She joined the Paladin Order without even going through the usual squire stage. Her talent, holy power, and martial strength were extraordinary. She was a close friend and sworn protector of Holy Queen Kalka, serving as her personal bodyguard. And together with her younger sister Kellart and the Holy Queen, the 3 represented the highest authority in the Holy Kingdom, combining martial, magical, and divine leadership. Thanks to her lifelong devotion to combat training, Remedios became the strongest paladin in the Holy Kingdom. Her holy power, martial skill, and divine equipment elevated her to one of the most formidable human warriors in the New World. She possesses superhuman strength and exceptional swordsmanship, capable of matching powerful demi-human leaders such as Vijar Rajandala during the Siege of Loitz, and she has mastered many martial arts techniques. She's able to use flow acceleration, which enhanced her speed and reflexes by overclocking the nervous system. She's also able to use Fortress to temporarily boost her defense and withstand direct attacks, while Strong Strike allows her to amplify the destructive force of her sword swings. And as a paladin, she wields Holy Strike, a skill that channels divine energy into her weapon to deliver devastating blows against evil-aligned beings. She had developed a ranged sword art that allowed her to launch sword attacks from a distance, making her effective against both close and mid-range enemies. Additionally, she carries Sufferlicia, a sacred sword that grew stronger against evil beings and inflicted grievous wounds on them, serving as her greatest weapon and a symbol of her identity as the strongest paladin. When the demi-human army approached Kalinsha, she decided to enter the battlefield, and during the clash between humans and demi-humans, she defeated the enemy commander, one of Yaldabaoth's demons, the Scale Demon, a feat that proved both her immense strength and her vital importance to the Holy Kingdom's defense. To the people of the Holy Kingdom, she embodied the purest image of a paladin, unwavering loyalty, justice, and devotion to the queen. She stood out not just for her power, but for the way her ideals defined her entire existence. However, her defining qualities were also the cause of her downfall. Her stubbornness, bias against demi-humans, and black and white worldview made her incapable of adapting to complex situations. While other leaders used strategy and diplomacy, Remedios clung to a rigid sense of justice that blinded her to reality. This childlike morality made her predictable and exploitable by Demiurge, and combined with her inability to grasp Ainz's true actions during the Holy Kingdom War, ultimately led to her downfall. Kalard Custodio was the high priestess of the Robal Holy Kingdom, the younger sister of Remedios Custodio, and one of the twin wings who supported Holy Queen Kalka. She was the leader of the priesthood and the most powerful divine magic caster in the kingdom. Calm, composed, and she served as the spiritual pillar of the kingdom, wielding divine power that few could rival. She was a cautious person who preferred to gather all the necessary information before taking action, yet could be ruthless when it came to protecting those she loved. When people acted hostilely against her and Kalka, she responded more aggressively than even her sister Remedios. She was respected not only for her magic abilities, but also for her strategic mindset, and feared by nobles for her quiet ruthlessness. She acted as Kalka's shadow enforcer, doing what the queen herself refused to do to keep her throne secure. Her skills were so exceptional that she could fully restore her mana within a single day, surpassing even Lacus of Blue Roses. Her abilities included powerful offensive and supportive spells such as Blindness, which temporarily impaired opponents' vision, Holy Ray, a piercing 4th tier light spell, Open Wound, a 2nd tier spell that exacerbated injuries, Shockwave, a 2nd tier spell capable of crushing even full plate armor through an invisible force, and she was able to summon a 3rd tier angel called Archangel Flame. She also was able to cast Raise Dead, a formidable 5th tier resurrection spell capable of reviving the dead, and her resurrection magic was seen as the Holy Kingdom's insurance. If Kalka died, Kalart could bring her back. Despite her position, her true capabilities were kept hidden from the public. Most believed her spellcasting was capped at the 4th tier, when in reality she could cast 5th tier divine magic. Tragically, Kalart and Kalka were captured and eliminated during Yaldabaoth's invasion, and she was used by the Circlet Demon, one of Demiurge's subordinates, to channel her own divine spells against her allies, and her death marked the collapse of the Holy Kingdom's hope, as without her, Kalka could not be resurrected. Kalard Custodio was more than just the High Priestess. She was the hidden shield of the Holy Kingdom, feared by its enemies, respected by its people, and remembered as one of the kingdom's greatest defenders. Freivalds is an adamantite rank adventurer and the leader of Silver Threadbird, one of the strongest adventurer teams in the Baharuth Empire. His team is famous for taking on unconventional challenges and succeeding where others might fail, giving them an almost legendary reputation, especially after slaying a terrifying monster known as the Radiant Crawler, a feat recorded as a heroic saga. Freivalds is known for being a bard and spellsong caster, a blessing-type magic caster, and a rare kind that belongs to an alternative magic system in the New World. Unlike regular casters, he casts magic through music, casting spells with the power of song rather than traditional incantations, and his abilities make him both a unique support and offense specialist. He wields several magical items, and his most notable equipment is the special Lute Star Symphony, which greatly enhances his spell song, and a rapier for close combat when forced into melee. Under his leadership, the team rose to Adamantite, ranked the highest attainable rank for adventurers. His charisma helped hold the group together, and his ability to make strategic plans through the most dangerous quests was the key factor behind their success. He and his team were personally hired by Emperor Jerkniv as bodyguards during a secret high-level meeting at the Colosseum with the High Priest of the Empire and representatives of the slain theocracy. Jerkniv sought capable adventurers to secure both his personal safety and the sensitive negotiations, and he hired Silver Threadbird not simply because they were Adamantite rank adventurers, but because they possessed unusual classes with specialized abilities, making them perfect for surveillance, reconnaissance, and spy detection. Freivalds' spellsong magic was especially valuable, his ability allowing him to sense hidden threats and uncover enemies. But after witnessing the duel between Ainz and the Martial Lord at the Colosseum while guarding Emperor Jerkniv, Freivalds decided to move Silver Threadbird's activities to the Karsanis city. Clementine was once the 9th seed of the Black Scripture, the slain theocracy's most elite champions. She was one of the strongest humans of her time, surpassing most adventurers and warriors in the New World. She specialized in assassination techniques and critical piercing damage, making her especially lethal against living beings. And as a martial arts master, she uses techniques such as flow acceleration, which boosted her speed and reflexes in Impenetrable Fortress, allowing her to block even the strikes of stronger opponents. She also uses greater evasion, ability boost, and pace of the wind to enhance her speed and agility in combat. She wields lightweight stilettos, weapons ideal for precision stabbing and assassination, often enchanted with 3rd tier spells such as Fireball and Lightning, and few humans blended martial arts with enchanted weapons as effectively as she did. For heavier strikes, she also carries a Morning Star, a spiked mace that is used to inflict bludgeoning attacks. Clementine's fighting style was precise and sadistic. She enjoyed toying with her enemies rather than ending the battle swiftly, and was obsessed with taking adventure tags as trophies. She was a sadistic psychopath psychopath driven purely by her love of violence. Unlike many villains who are shaped by tragedy or trauma, Clementine openly admitted that she was always ruthless by choice. She simply enjoyed causing pain. To her, people were nothing more than tools, and she found pleasure in breaking them both physically and psychologically. As a former member of the Black Scripture, she was very confident in her abilities and considered herself unbeatable among humans. However, her reckless cruelty and madness made her too unstable within the Black Scripture. She was unable to restrain her sadistic impulses. Eventually, she betrayed them and even stole the crown of wisdom from one of the 6 Miko princesses before fleeing to the Riestes kingdom, and joined the dark necromantic organization Zuranorn, where she became one of its 12 executives and worked alongside the necromancer Khajiit Dale Badantal. Together, Clementine and Khajiit devised a dark plan to kidnap the young alchemist Infirea Barriare and use him in the Ritual of Death, a massive spell meant to turn E. Rantil into an undead city. Ultimately, her arrogance led to her downfall when she confronted Ainz as the adventurer Momon. She proudly displayed her martial arts mastery, believing herself superior, but her attacks were useless against Ainz's overwhelming power. Clementine, who once declared herself unbeatable, ended up dying in the worst way, crushed in Ainz's hands. Quaesa Hazia Quintia is the 5th seat of the Black Scripture and more commonly known as the One-Man Army. He's the older brother of Clementine, and unlike her, he was deeply favored by their parents, and his younger sister Clementine resented being compared to him so often. He carries himself with a calm yet forceful demeanor, often maintaining a composed smile even in tense situations. He's polite, diplomatic, and willing to smooth over conflicts, and his exceptional traits are what made him the Black Scripture's negotiator, especially in matters of recruiting adventurers to the slain theocracy's cause. Quaes also stands out as a formidable warrior. He is a summoner and a beast tamer. His greatest assets are the gigant basilisks, massive creatures capable of overwhelming armies. This makes him more effective in large-scale battles than most of the Black Scripture members. And he could also summon Crimson Owl's monsters that originally hailed from Yggdrasil. These Crimson Owls were summoned by Quaes to help the Sunlight Scripture and Black Scripture while wiping out goblins in the Great Forest of Tob. Beyond his sheer strength, he had the authority to restrain and command his Black Scripture teammates, and he's highly respected among them. He even fought alongside the Black Scripture during their battle against Shaltir before she was placed under mind control. Though the mission failed, he managed to survive. And during the fall of the Riestes kingdom, Quaese was sent alongside 3 other Black Scripture members to recruit powerful adventurers such as Blue Roses and Azuth Aindra of Red Drop into the slain theocracy. While he failed in convincing them, he demonstrated his ability to lead negotiations calmly under pressure. Quaese stands out for his unique blend of military power and diplomatic skills, which earned him the title as the One-Man Army. Brain Unglaus was a famous mercenary who later became a swordsman in the Riestes kingdom, gifted and blessed with extraordinary talent in the mastery of the sword. He was a genius compared to most warriors. While others learned martial arts passed down through the ages, he developed his own martial arts, relying entirely on precision, speed, and skills rather than magic. At this point, Brain was already considered one of the kingdom's greatest swordsmen and believed himself to be the strongest until his defeat by Gazov Stranov in the grand tournament for King's Guard captain. So he went on a journey to improve himself, meeting various people such as Rigrit Bears Korau, and in order to make a living, he started working for the group of mercenaries, the Death Spreading Brigade. And when the mercenaries were attacked, Brain faced Shaltir, and his absolute confidence was shattered by the immense difference of power between him and her. This encounter broke his pride, but after meeting Sebastian and seeing how he used his great power to protect others, he transformed into a warrior who valued honor, friendship, and protecting others over mere personal glory. In combat, he relied on martial arts like Ability Boost and Greater Ability Boost, which enhanced his physical strength and overall capacity, Cutting Edge, which allowed his blade to cut through the air itself, and he could withstand enemy blows with Fortress, even blocking strikes barehanded. His style included offensive skills such as Heavy Blow and Strong Assault, techniques that increased weapon power and allowed him to heavily damage armored foes. And what truly set him apart was his original martial art field. This technique was his signature, granting him total awareness within 3 meters and maximizing both accuracy and evasion. He combined it with instantaneous flash, a lightning strike he refined into God Flash, a unique art so fast that even blood didn't stick to the blade after cutting. His main weapon was a katana, an unenchanted weapon that allowed him to cut more effectively than many magic-forged blades. For protection, he wore a chain shirt beneath his clothing and wielded several magical items such as the Necklace of Eye, which granted him protection against blindness and provided night vision, and the Ring of Magic Bound, an item that let him bind a low-tier spell into the ring and activate it when needed. In addition, he used consumable items like the Potion of Lesser Strength, Potion of Lesser Dexterity, and Potion of Magic Weapon, which provided temporary boosts in combat. So he started to train even harder, and over time, Brain refined his martial arts even further. He mastered the Sixfold Slash of Light, an advanced technique he learned under Vesterklof de Laufen. And from this foundation, he created his trump card, the Wind of the Great Forest, a devastating decapitation technique that combined field and God Flash, named after the sound of blood spraying in the wind. Later, he perfected this idea into his ultimate move, the True Nail Clipper, which merged field, God Flash, and Sixfold Slash of Light. This technique exceeded his natural limits by about 10 levels thanks to his innate talent, which greatly increased his focus capacity. Even Kokitos himself estimated that Brain's strength had reached around level 40 when he unleashed it. Though still hopelessly outmatched against monsters like Shaltir or Kokitos, his growth and legacy were undeniable. And by the end of his journey, Brain had surpassed Gazef Stronov and stepped into the realm of heroes. Gogin is a towering war troll and the 8th generation martial lord of the Baharuth Empire's Imperial Arena. Known as the Empire's greatest warrior, and he's a living legend among gladiators. Gogin was once a simple troll with limited understanding of the human world. His skills and thirst for battle caught the attention of Osk, who recruited him to fight in the Imperial Arena, and over time, Gogin rose to become its champion, earning the title of Martial Lord. He possessed extraordinary physical strength and resilience enhanced further by his troll nature, and his regenerative abilities allowed him to quickly recover from injuries, making him a nearly unstoppable opponent in prolonged battles. He mastered several martial arts, which included techniques such as Divine Skill Single Flash, producing a blinding light to disorient enemies, Flow Acceleration temporarily boosting his nerve response and movement speed, and both Reinforce Hide and Greater Reinforce Hide, which hardened his already durable troll skin into a nearly impenetrable defense. He also used Strong Strike to greatly amplify the power of his blows. He equipped himself with anti-magic armor that provided protection against spells, a massive giant metal club that served as his signature weapon, and several magical accessories such as an amulet and ring to further bolster his already formidable presence as the Empire's martial lord. These martial techniques, when combined with his troll power and battle instincts, made him an unmatched champion in the arena. As Bazawud Peshmal once remarked, that even if the 4 Imperial Knights were to fight him together, they would still have no chance. He longed for a battle that would truly test him, a goal that led to his fateful duel with Ainz. Though he fought with unmatched ferocity and even inflicted significant damage, he was defeated. And honoring his word, Gogin became a devoted subordinate of Ainz, gaining respect and earning a place as a loyal servant of the Sorcerer Kingdom. Gazef Stronov was the warrior captain of the Riestes Kingdom and the personal bodyguard of King Ramposa, known as the strongest warrior in the kingdom. He stood as both a protector and a symbol of hope for the common people. He worked as a mercenary before encountering Vester Cloth de Laufen, a former adamantite ranked adventurer who taught him extraordinary swordsmanship, and his skills eventually led him to enter the Royal Grand Tournament, where he defeated the famed warrior Brain Unglaus. This victory earned him the title of warrior captain and the trust of King Ramposa, becoming his personal bodyguard, and he was hailed as the kingdom's strongest warrior, with strength surpassing even adamantite rank adventurers. He possessed exceptional talent in martial arts and was the kingdom's ultimate trump card in battle, and his abilities included mastery over powerful martial arts such as Sixfold Slash of Light, delivering 6 strikes in a single sword swing at the speed of light, Flow Acceleration, enhancing his nerves to greatly increase attack and movement speed. Focused Battle Aura grants ordinary weapons with magical effects to overcome even special defenses, Possibility Sense, and Sense Weakness, allowing him to detect chances of victory and exploit enemy vulnerabilities. In addition, as warrior captain, he fully equipped with the kingdom's treasures, including the enchanted blade Razor Edge, a magically sword capable of cutting through armor like paper, legendary armor, and artifacts that enhanced his stamina, regeneration, and combat potential. Gazef earned widespread fame and admiration, commanding respect from both nobles and commoners. Though only nobles could become knights in the kingdom, he established and led his own warrior troop, proving his worth through sheer skills and leadership. He was a commoner who rose to greatness, respected for his merit rather than his bloodline, earning even the Sorcerer King's respect Ainz Uulgaun. Ultimately, his courage and devotion culminated in his final stand at the Massacre of Katsa Plains, where he challenged the Sorcerer King himself in a hopeless duel, choosing to uphold his honor and loyalty until his last breath. However, it was later revealed that he managed to step into the realm of heroes only with the help of the kingdom's treasures, meaning he was not truly on the same level as a hero. Even so, the fact that Gazef could touch that realm even briefly solidified his reputation as one of humanity's greatest warriors, and his legacy is remembered as an honorable warrior, a man who chose loyalty and honor over survival, and whose name lives on as a real standard of what it meant to be a warrior in the Riestes Kingdom. Nigan Grid Lewin was the captain of the Sunlight Scripture, one of the Slain Theocracy's most elite special operations units. He was very devoted to his nation and entrusted with dangerous missions on behalf of the 6 cardinals, many of which involved brutal actions against demi-humans and political targets. He once led a raid on a demi-human village, but his operation was interrupted by the adventurer team Blue Roses, where Lakius scarred his face in combat, a wound he carried both as a mark of shame and a reminder of his defeat. Despite such failure, his loyalty elevated him to a position of power within the Sunlight Scripture, making him one of the most trusted agents of the Cardinals. Nigan was a 4th-tier spellcaster capable of casting divine and offensive magic that placed him above the average human, and he could summon angels, including the mid-level angel Principality Observation, considered an elite angel in the Slain Theocracy, and his personal talent makes them more formidable than usual. His trump card is the Sealing Crystal, a powerful artifact entrusted to him by the Cardinals, capable of summoning the 7th-tier angel Dominion Authority, a being said to have defeated a demon god 200 years ago. His most notable mission was the attempt to assassinate Gazef Stronov. By disguising his men as knights of the Baharuth Empire and raiding villages such as Karn Village, he successfully lured Gazef out from the capital city of Riestes and faced him in battle. Using his angels, he managed to put Gazef and his warrior troop on the brink of defeat, nearly accomplishing his mission. However, his plan collapsed with the sudden arrival of Ainz Uulgaun, who effortlessly annihilated his summoned angels, countered his trump card Dominion Authority, and captured Nigan and his unit to face their inevitable fate in Nazarick. Nigan managed to step into the realm of heroes only only through the help of the sealing crystal. By wielding such a divine weapon, Nigan touched a level of power far beyond ordinary humans, standing on the threshold of the realm of heroes. The 11th seed of the Black Scripture, better known as Infinite Magic, is one of the most powerful magic casters in the Slain Theocracy. She's an extraordinarily powerful magic caster who specializes in destructive and ice-based spells. She's capable of unleashing devastating attacks such as Fireball, a third-tier long-range spell that summons a massive fireball, Icefall, which summons a giant ice ball from the sky, and Ice Block, a spell that freezes and deals magic damage to enemies. Her magic also provides supportive effects such as Ice Needle, boosts her allies' resistance, and Fraulein grants her steady recovery and boosts her ice elemental power during battle. In addition, her passive abilities enhance her ice element magic, increase her effectiveness against devil-type foes, and allow her to recover mana efficiently, giving her remarkable endurance in prolonged combat. She rides a giant floating crystal orb known as the Magic Spherin, which allows her to fly and move quickly, and she's said to be stronger than any member of Blue Roses, which proves how dangerous and formidable her power truly is. She was arrogant and overconfident, believing her magic made her untouchable. However, her pride was shattered when she faced Anteline Heron Fouché, the Godkin, better known as Certain Death or Zeshi Zetsume, who utterly defeated her. This humiliating experience left her deeply traumatized, turning her into an obedient and submissive woman who prefers to leave responsibility to others while following orders. And her training under the Godkin Anteline forced her to master the ability to cast spells even while enduring pain, making her far more resilient in battle than most magic casters. During the fall of the Riestes Kingdom, she was sent alongside other members of the Black Scripture to recruit elite adventurers, where she personally confronted Azuth Aindra and the Blue Roses. She tried to mock Azuth, but ultimately respected her leader's orders and carried out her mission with discipline. Despite her immense magical power, she was humbled to the point of submission and transformed from an arrogant person to an obedient one. And all the other unknown members of the Black Scripture are hero-level individuals. However, there are three who stand above even that: the 10th seed of the Black Scripture, Captain of the Black Scripture, and Anteline Heron Fouché. They're beyond hero level. They're considered outliers with exceptional abilities and strength, and we'll cover them in detail in the upcoming video, so stay tuned. Peace.